The Cooley's Anemia Foundation is dedicated to finding a cure for patients with the genetic blood disorder thalassemia.
When I start feeling sorry for myself, I think how lucky I am to have such a disease that it can be treated. I have doctors that know how to treat it, parents that know how to treat it, and I just sit down and I think how lucky I am.
Cooley's anemia and thalassemia is a worldwide problem. It's probably the most common genetic blood disorder in the world. There are millions of people affected. When a newborn is born with a disease that is very serious, first is not believing it, then there's also anger, and then there's guilt. The initial goal of the family is to search out and cure their child. They want their child to be normal. The reality of it is that their child is normal child. He or she has a medical problem.
The word thalassemia comes from the Greek word thalassa, which means sea. And it was a disease that was found around the Mediterranean, even in ancient times, where basically children were born, did fine for about the first year of life, and then became very anemic.
The child has inherited, usually from both parents, an abnormal gene, and that the combination of the two abnormal genes causes the form of thalassemia that child has.
And the problem with people with thalassemia is they don't make one chain of hemoglobin. You don't have the oxygen-carrying compound, stuff that makes blood red. Those red cells get very pale. You become very anemic, weak, and ultimately can die.
The first hematologist we went to told us a story that made that night the longest one of our lives. He painted an absolutely horrible picture because the information he gave us was outdated. He said she has Cooley's anemia. It's an incurable, fatal blood disease. Chances of her living past 14 or 15 are impossible. She will be facially disfigured. She won't grow. She won't be able to keep up with other children. She won't be able to keep up with her schoolwork.
Felicia that I know is just like any of my friends. I get up in the morning, I comb my hair, brush my teeth, and go to school. I'm in the plays after school, I do chorus. So the Alicia that I know is just like everybody else, but different, I think, because of Cooley's anemia.
These children need a transfusion every couple of weeks to every month just to keep their blood levels at a level where you can survive.
The early years of blood transfusions were just hideous. I mean, to find a vein on a 8-month-old baby is so difficult. You have this child that can't communicate verbally yet, but she knows you love her because she's with you all the time, and then you're... Just give me a sec. To hold her down and have her look at you like, how could you forsake me? Because you're holding her while someone's hurting her was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
I don't know any other way. You know, I don't know not getting transfusions. I don't know not having to do medicine and, you know, take vitamins in the morning, and I don't know any of the, you know, the normalities that everybody else goes through. So it's the only life that I know.
And everything else I basically got a B in. But I got an A in gym, and the woman that I had only gives Bs.
With the transfusions comes an overload of iron, and that the only way that they could get some of the iron out is with this chelating drug called Desferol.
If that iron isn't removed along the way, it will cause fatal damage to a variety of organs, most importantly the heart and the liver.
It's a needle that I administer either in my leg or my stomach or any place that's comfortable, and it's attached to a syringe, which is attached to like a little machine that administers the medicine over an 8-hour period. There's been times when I've been angry, like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to get up after, like I said, doing so many hours of homework? Why do I have to get up and mix medicine? And, you know, why me?
They can, you know, give you some pretty sound arguments why they shouldn't do it tonight. You know, they're, as all of us parents of teenagers know, they are some phenomenally gifted debaters. on anything, from staying out late to going in so-and-so's car to being on the phone at this, or whatever it is, and this is no different.
The Cooley's Anemia Foundation has been amazingly effective over the years in continuously challenging the system to be better than it is at the moment.
I really don't believe the lifespan would have doubled for thalassemia if it wasn't for lobbying and activism pushing to do research in this disorder.
Felicia has osteoporosis now. She's 16. That's for 85-year-old ladies. That's not for a 16-year-old kid.
It's let me appreciate life so much more because I realize, yeah, I do have something wrong with me. But I tell my mom every day, and she doesn't get mad at me, but she always says, Alicia, you're wrong. I always say, I'm not sick, Mom. What are you talking about? It's kind of like, I believe that if I say I'm not sick, then I won't be. And I know I am, but I always tell him, like, I'm not sick. What are you talking about? I'm not sick. It's just me. That's just what I have to do. I'm not sick. That's just the way I see it, you know? I'm not, like I said, I'm not sick. I'm just a kid who has another thing to do after school.